Chapter 4, Tangled Threads. Hopefully you're all having a good day. Arthur and Lancelot are grave in the wake of the secret you've just shared. The secret you've carried alone your whole life. Until today. I'm so sorry. Whatever for. You didn't try to poison me. You see it in your mind's eye again. Lancelot bleeding out as he lifts his sword to slay Arthur in turn. I know, but the fate I saw for both of you, if not for my vision... Arthur interrupts you, his voice gentle but firm. If not for your visions, I would be dead. Arthur is right. You saved his life. But there must be something more to this terrible fate you saw for Camelot. Nothing could turn me against you, Arthur. I know. Despite the reassurance, Arthur does not look as certain as he sounds, but after a moment, he turns to you. Thank you for sharing this part of yourself with us. It saddens me to think of you shouldering this burden alone all of your life. It has not been easy. I'm only sorry to burden you with it as well. It's terrible knowing things that will happen, but being powerless to stop them. I don't know if I would say powerless. Arthur is, after all, still alive. And your visions are an advantage we'll need if we're to unravel this mystery and save Camelot from the fate you've seen. And save yourselves. Troubled Lancelot glances at his friend, while Arthur nods gravely. If anyone colluded with Brucin to have me killed, they may be behind this larger threat. That should be our first line of questioning. There's also the matter of whatever killed Brucin herself. I've never seen anything like that. We do have one clear suspect. Lancelot trails off, but Arthur seems to understand the implication. He shakes his head. No, surely not. Do not let sentiment blind you, Arthur. Before she died, Lady Brucin was speaking with Morgana. You shiver as you recall something else from that horrible vision of Camelot in flames. I saw them speaking too, and in my vision, Lancelot mentioned something about doing this for her. Well, that could mean almost anything, but I will allow that situation merits investigation. I do believe tomorrow's joust in your honor will keep my restless sister at court a little while longer. You've arranged a joust for me? Of course, you deserve to see our knights at their finest, and our people deserve a chance to see more of their future queen. Besides, not even Morgana could pass up the excitement of a joust, or a chance to enjoy a seat in the royal box. Then it will be the perfect opportunity to ask her a few more questions. Lancelot squares his shoulders, determination radiating off of him. One way or another, we'll stop these visions from coming to pass. I hope so. But they've always come true before. Tonight may be simply luck. Luck or no, we have to try. In the meantime, I suggest you speak with Merlin first thing in the morning before the jousts. About whatever might have killed Lady Brucin? About your visions. There's no one I trust more to deal with the magical affairs. Tell Merlin? I would welcome any help, if you think he'll offer it. I'm glad you both believe me, but I do not think most would be so understanding of the things I see. But Merlin has visions of his own. If anyone can understand what you face, he will. Then, if he has anything to teach me, I'd be eternally grateful. Arthur takes your hands in his, cradling them gently. For now, you should get more rests, Princess Guinevere. And thank you for saving my life. Though I'll never be able to repay my debt to you, I shall endeavor to try. Your heart beats a little faster as he gazes into your eyes with such sincere affection that you find yourself smiling back. It was the least I could do for my betrothed. I am so sorry that your time here has brought such danger and heartache already. This isn't your fault. Still, your happiness isn't my responsibility. I'd hoped to lighten your burden here and not deliver you new ones. Please let me escort you to your chambers and ensure they're safe. After a poisoning attempt like this, danger could still linger within the castle. If it is Her Majesty's safety you're concerned for, I should be the one to accompany her. It is my duty, Arthur. We both know I have a keener eye. The two hesitate, tension rising as one of them wishes to leave you unguarded. Well, if at least one of us will go with her, then perhaps she could choose her escort. Oh, it's a diamond choice, too! Hot dog, diggity dog. Yeah, I'm going with Arthur, no offense. I would greatly appreciate King Arthur's company after such a tumultuous night. As you wish, Your Highness. See to it that her room is safe, Arthur. Right now, that is the most important task in all of Camelot. Arthur strides through the halls beside you, his face grave as he scans every intersection for threats, as if danger might lurk behind every statue or in any shadowed alcoves. You were serious about searching for threats. I promised you a safe haven here, and I intend to keep my promise. His face tightens with anger. I won't soon forget ignorantly smiling at a feast while Lady Brucin drew her dagger against you in the kitchens. Arthur. You had no way of knowing. As king, I should know when someone threatens my kingdom, let alone my queen-to-be. Especially when you warned me that there was a danger afoot. But you had no way of knowing that danger would find its way to me. You turn the final corner, and Arthur stops outside your door, his expression softening. After everything that has happened tonight, I'm just glad you are safe. Yet you still seem troubled. How can I not be? Your visions would trouble anyone with enough sense, let alone a king whose best friend may turn against him. But more than that, I am troubled by the thought of you enduring these visions alone. I wish the walls of Camelot were high enough to ward them away. I fear there are no walls high enough to protect me from my mind. And, at the very least, I swear you won't face your visions alone any longer. Whatever you see from this day on, I will gladly endure it with you, so long as you're willing to share. It is quite a thing to offer someone he met this very morning, and yet he speaks every word with such conviction that it's impossible to doubt his sincerity. Thank you, Arthur. I hope to have happier visions I might one day share, instead of such darker thoughts. I hope you do. He smiles and turns away to your open door. Now, I promised a thorough inspection of your quarters if you'll give me a moment. He sets about inspecting hiding places around your room, wardrobe, under the bed, outside the window. He moves to each spot with practiced purpose. You seem like you've done this before. Do kings regularly check their quarters for hidden threats? Not exactly, but Kay and I played a great deal of hide-and-seek as children. Thinking about where someone could hide in a game is about the same as assessing a room for danger. So you've been honing your skill from a young age. And with experience, I'm glad to report that your room is safe. What a relief. Thank you for your thoroughness. As a king, being careless as a way of coming back to haunt you as Brucin's poison almost did tonight. Thank you again for saving my life. I was only doing my part to keep Camelot and my home safe. And for the sake of Camelot and Carmelide, I truly hope we can stop this terrible vision of our downfall from coming to pass. Arthur ruefully gazes out the window at the kingdom he holds dear, perhaps imagining its destruction. You don't seem as certain as Lancelot that we can stop it. He laughs softly. Lancelot has always believed in making his own fate. It's one of the things I admire about him, but after living a life shaped by destiny and prophecy, I've come to accept that certain things are inevitable. I only hope this isn't one of them. It may feel inevitable, but it's a comfort that you understand what that weight is like. I never thought anyone else would understand how these visions feel, the dread and helplessness. You no longer have to bear that burden alone, not while I'm here. He reaches out, as if comforting, touch your shoulder, then straightens and smiling. All this talk of impending doom has made me rather parched. Would you care for a drink? Do you have a particular specialty in mind? As a matter of fact, I do. He steps out of the room and gives an order to a nearby servant. Soon the servant returns with 2 goblets full of warm, fragrantly spiced wine. Smells heavenly. What is in it? It's a rare blend of spices from the furthest reaches of our trade routes, and I've never tasted until I became king. And now you partake in it whenever you get the chance? He laughs and nods. Ruling a kingdom does come with its privileges. Growing up, I dreamed of a little more than exploring the woods near our home, or following Kay into a knighthood. I never thought my path would lead me to Camelot, let alone to the throne, but seeing as it has, I've tried to do my best at it, and to enjoy small moments like this whenever I can. The small moments of peace after an assassination attempt? The moments of peace with someone I trust, sharing one of my favorite drinks. My hope is that it will become one of yours after tonight. He swirls the liquid in his goblet as he raises a glass to you, and you lift your own to your lips. You sip from your goblet, feeling the smooth burn of the spices wash down your throat. I think I'll join you after all. This is one of the finest things I've ever tasted. Should you ever wish to sample it again, you need only ask. I ought to let you get some rest, but I hope the drink brought you some comfort. Knowing that I am watched over by the mighty King Arthur is an even greater comfort. I'm glad. He gets up, smoothing the rich fabric of his clothes before crossing into the threshold of the room, but as he reaches the door, he pauses. However hopeless fighting your visions may have felt before, you do not fight them alone any longer, Guinevere. Please know that I will do all that I can for you, no matter what comes. That means more than I can say. Now sleep well, and may your dreams bring you peace. He gives you one last smile before closing the door behind him. Even after he's gone, you can't help but feel a warmth in the room. Has it truly have been one day since I arrived here? But tomorrow brings fewer surprises and more answers. The next morning, after you wake from a night of uneasy dreams, Arthur takes you to Merlin's tower. Nice.
Ah, your majesty, Princess Guinevere. Welcome to my humble abode.
Thank you for meeting us so early. There's almost too much to take in. Your gaze passes over row after row of brightly colored potions and stoppered bottles, mystical devices whose function you can hardly imagine.
As much as I'd enjoy giving Princess Guinevere a tour, you look troubled, my king. Assume you're here on a graver errand.
Lancelot apprehended a would-be poisoner last night, and Arthur was her intended target.
Oh, where is the malefactor now?
Dead. Killed by some force that seemed to sap the very air from her lungs. We hoped you could tell us more. What could possibly kill someone in such a strange manner?
This is a grave matter indeed.
Merlin circles the room, gathering worn, leather-bound tomes from shelves. He pages through the books deep in thought before replying.
I can think of only two things. The first is a fact-acting poison, extracted from a plant in the woods west of the city.
And the second?
A curse. The kind of dark magic commonly practiced by witches in the North Country.
Merlin speaks those last words deliberately. Arthur stiffens, his expression grim. My sister spent much of her childhood in the north before I came to court. Really? Has anyone else spent time there?
None that I know of, although I fear many here keep their secrets close to the chests.
True, but I'll not damn my sister or anyone else over a coincidence, Merlin. It truly hurts him to think that Morgana may be behind this attempt on his life.
Of course, your majesty. But whether Morgana is involved or not, there's clearly a threat somewhere within Camelot.
I agree, and we were hoping you could help us get to the bottom of it. Arthur glances at you with a brief, encouraging smile, but he waits for you to take the next step. I could tell Merlin everything, or try to learn how his visions work without revealing too much. Merlin... The truth is, I have visions of things yet to come. You wait for disbelief or suspicion across his face, but there's only a moment of shock, quickly replaced by curiosity.
Fascinating. Tell me everything.
explain the glimpses of past and present that have haunted you all your life and the doom you've foreseen for Camelot. Arthur gently rests a hand on your shoulder as you speak, his presence encouraging, but when you finish, Merlin only has more questions.
And you saw only Lancelot and King Arthur, no others, invaders, perhaps?
There were people that had fallen on the battlefield, but none I recognized.
This is quite troubling. Have you had any other visions since your arrival?
Just one, of Arthur being poisoned at the feast. Which, as you can see, she managed to avert.
Yes, it's sometimes the way. Occasionally I can stop things I see from coming to pass.
You can? That means there's hope.
But too often, they simply happen in other ways. Ways I can have not foreseen. Sometimes brought to pass by my own efforts to stop them.
It gives you a rueful smile. Then what else can I do?
There is a compound I use when I delve deeper into my visions. It keeps me present in them, makes them more real. But sadly, it is most rare. I have none to offer you at the moment.
I appreciate you thinking of it nonetheless.
Of course. I know it can be difficult to face such visions, particularly the ones which seem bound to happen no matter what. But sometimes knowledge is the key to ensuring Camelot's survival, no matter how heavy a burden it is to bear.
The wizard speaks, the air around him shivers, and you see another scene begin to coalesce around him. Merlin's voice fades to a distant rumble, overlapping with another Merlin's voice, one strident and trembling with intensity.
Must not blood right for the taking.
You see him staring down a fierce older king. Then the flicker of another moment as Merlin fights beside Arthur on the battlefield. Merlin's past with Arthur. Was that his father? Oh, we get a diamond choice, everybody. Look.
My name is Deckard Kane. Would you like me to heal you with some knowledge? Stay a while.
The world vanishes in a rush of darkness as you reach for the vision, following Merlin's voice into the past. If you get my reference, you win a point. Those with the most points at the end of the year get a PlayStation 5. I'm kidding! It's a joke. King Uther lounges on his throne, heedless of the urgency in your voice.
Uther, heed my words. You must not send your forces north for conquest. And how else am I to expand my borders? Orkney is ripe for the taking. But I have seen what will come of this attack, and my visions never lie.
You feel the weight of all the things you foretold in your long, long life, heavier than mountains, and yet you shoulder them you must.
Royal blood will flow if you do this.
The king laughs, brushing away your warning with a wave of his hand.
King Lot's blood once I have taken this fine kingdom. You take these visions too seriously for Merlin. And you do not take them seriously enough. If you will not listen, then go to your doom. Just remember that I warned you. My doom. How melodramatic fear makes you. Not fear, Uther. Concern. Another word for cowardice, and I will go to my victory, and I will remember you tried to stop me.
The angry king strides away, and you think about the babe you left with Sir Ector over a decade ago. He's a teenager now, but still so young.
I hoped you would have more time before facing your destiny, child.
A splash of vivid red obscures your vision, carrying with it the clash of swords and pained sounds of the dead and dying, and then blood. More and more of it, a river of it, as far as you can see. You follow it back to its source. Where Uther's helmet lay shattered on the ground, surrounded by royal blood of Pendragon.
But I fear you will not have much time at all.
Years later, Uther's heir stands at your side, no longer a child, but a king of legend. Arthur surveys the battlefield before him, his expression rueful. I wish King Idris had given me a choice besides war.
No, but he did not. He attacked one of your vassals, and honor demands that you defend them. You do not go to war for glory, agreed, but out of necessity, unlike your father.
I know, and I will do what must be done, but death is always a waste.
Then strike for King Idris himself. If he surrenders, the fight will be won, and if he will not yield, you can end the battle in another way.
Arthur nods decisively. A wise plan, one that will soon see my people safe if luck favors us.
You take my advice so willingly. Thank the gods you are nothing like your father.
What do you mean?
I do not wish to speak ill of the dead, but your father did not share your concern for the lives of his soldiers, or your regard for my wisdom.
A battle in which he fell, did you
warn him? I tried.
Tell me, Merlin, have you had any visions about this day? Will my knights survive? You let your gaze drift over the army gathered before you. One young knight trembles and vanishes. As you watch, more gaps appear, as if their lives are being snuffed out before you. Yet Arthur is still visible beside you, noble and determined.
I see that you will survive, my king, but many of them will not.
I was afraid of this. Which ones? It's tempting to lie, but he asks for the truth. So you give it to him, pointing out young knights, old and new, young, all lives that will end on this bloody field. So many. You worry for a moment that telling the truth was a mistake, but Arthur squares his shoulders. Then we will be fast and ruthless, and make sure this battle is worth the cost. The trumpets sound, and Arthur raises Excalibur. The sword of legends glitters in the sun. To me, Knights of the Round Table, charge! The roar of knights swells around you as you follow Arthur's charge. The young knight is relentless, fighting his way toward the enemy king with single-minded focus. Forward, push forward! Give them a fight they'll never forget!
Rally to the king!
You falter as the buzz of an arrow suddenly fills your ears, drowning out the clash of steel. A rapid vision flashes before your eyes, an arrow arching across the battlefield towards Arthur, striking true. No! Turning, your gaze flicks back into the present. You see the arrow whizzing across the battlefield, following the arc of your vision, and unsuspecting Arthur directly in its path. Throw an enemy. You fling your hand forward, feeling power spark at your fingertips. Magic explodes out of you, snatching up an enemy soldier who is lifting his sword to swing at Arthur.
What?
The furious twist of your hand, you fling the shoulder between Arthur and the arrow. It flies into him, sinking deep, and you let the body drop. Thank you, Merlin.
I wouldn't let no harm come to you, your majesty.
Before you can respond, another foe lunges for Arthur, swinging an axe at his back. Coward! Lancelot suddenly appears out of the whirlwind of a battlefield. He parries the blow with ease and strikes the soldier down. These dishonorable curs sneak into the shadows and strike at your back. As always, I'm grateful to have you watching mine. Watching your back has been a good warm-up, but I heard there was a chance to duel the enemy king. Oh, is that why you're here? I thought I'd take care of the situation for you. Only if you find him first. Lancelot charges ahead with Arthur a heartbeat behind. The two friends race to put an end to the battle, and you feel a moment of gratitude for your visions, as painful as they often are.
Arthur has too much work ahead of him to fall today.
Something wavers at the edges of your sight, that familiar flickering feeling, but just as this once, you push it away.
No, not for a long time yet.
Now, playing as Guinevere. You snap back into the present, your mind swirling with what you've seen. His visions seem to strike even more often than mine. They've led him into danger. They've also helped him protect this king at the same time. You feel shaken, but Arthur and Merlin are still talking quietly. You realize very little time has passed at all. As difficult as the visions are, old friend, I have always been grateful for your counsel.
And I'm grateful you so often heed it.
Yes, thank you for all you've told us, and for protecting Arthur.
I've been doing this so his whole life. But I have a care, my king. The witches from the north are not to be underestimated, if any have set their sights against you.
With Merlin's warning ringing out in your ears, Arthur offers you his arm and escorts you back towards your quarters. Do you feel any better after speaking with Merlin? Honestly, I'm actually gonna go with, I wish he'd be able to tell me more. If visions like these can sometimes foil the most powerful wizard in the land, what chance do I have to stopping them? Do not underestimate yourself, Guinevere. You saved me once already, did you not? I suppose, but one thing you said troubles me. That sometimes this visions still happen in a different way than expected. How did you know? Because I think we are alike in many ways, and that would trouble me as well. Even prophecy can be deceptive, and I can never know if my actions will avert danger or ensure it. Yeah, so you have to tell Arthur, and he has to make a choice. That's how it works. You reach your chambers, and Arthur suddenly smiles. Let us put aside a danger and curses for a little while. We still have a joust to prepare for. A joust and questions to ask. And my betrothed deserves to have a dress for the occasion. He nods towards your wardrobe, and you open it to find an intricate gown, complete with a beautiful sash on one arm. Oh, Arthur, it's beautiful. It had to be worthy of its wearer. I hope it pleases you. This gown comes with a token to give to your chosen champion in the joust. Listen, I come up with voices out of nowhere. Wow, we look like a clown. I said it! Listen, it's just a lot of colors, okay? Don't at me. It's just... It almost looks like a jouster I once saw, but moving on. You sweep up the gown and move behind a screen where your maid rushes to help you change. The new dress slides over your skin, the fabric so finely woven that you marvel as it settles into place. You smooth the skirts and step out. How do I look? Is it that bad? No, it's quite at the opposite of bad. You are stunning. Arthur smiles, his eyes never leaving you, and you feel your cheeks warm under that appreciative gaze. And you honor me greatly. Surely, I cannot do you that much honor simply by wearing a dress. You honor me by your presence in Camelot, by being here with me, and you would do me one more honor by letting me escort you to the joust. He offers you his arm, leading you through the halls that are becoming more familiar by the hour. You arrive at a packed arena where Arthur takes you in the royal box. Several nobles immediately rise to greet him.
Good day, Your Majesty, Princess Guinevere.
Yes, you'll always have the same voice.
King Arthur, fine day for a joust.
Morgana alone does not rise. Her gaze rakes over you. Well, at least your sense of style isn't lacking. Was that a compliment? I wouldn't grow accustomed to the feeling. Oh, it's too late, Morgana. You've said something nice, and now you may not retract it. She plasters on a fake smile, baring her teeth. I'm so happy you've decided to join us, Princess Guinevere. Morgana. Don't worry, Arthur. She can't frighten me away. And if I've got under her skin, she might let something slip. Arthur squeezes your hand before turning to address the crowd. People of Camelot, Knights of the Round Table, it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce you all to Princess Guinevere of Camelot, your future queen. You step forward, and the crowd erupts into cheers. Arthur gestures towards you, and you lift a hand to acknowledge their tribute. The honor is mine. The crowd cheers again, the joyful noise going on until Arthur raises a hand to silence them. I ask you all to enjoy the festivities, the knights of the Round Table. I remind you to fight with honor, especially since I'll be joining the lists along with you. Huzzah for the king! As the crowd erupts in another cheer, all those eager faces look not to Arthur, but for you for a final word. May Camelot prosper forever. The crowd roars with approval, and Arthur smiles at you. Well said, Princess Guinevere. I meant every word. Oh, she said like 3 words. I believe you, and with you at my side, I believe Camelot will prosper. Arthur steps down from the box and behind a small curtain, where pages scurry up to help him into his armor while the crowd murmurs in anticipation. Lancelot rides up to the royal box atop a black steed, inclining his head respectfully. Your Highness. Sir Lancelot. His gaze drifts over you, taking in the elaborate gown Arthur had arranged for you. It is unfair, Princess. What is? For you to outshine the sun. I hope to honor your name with my exploits today. Have you chosen your champion yet? My champion? Arthur rides up beside his Lancelot in full armor, grinning. It is customary for nobles to choose a champion. If they wish, either of us would gladly compete in your honor. I mean, what? Why would you choose Sir Lancelot versus Arthur? You know, like... Arthur's eyes sparkle with pleasure, his expression radiant, and he nods from a saddle. You honor me, Guinevere. I will do my best to win for you. I believe you will, and I'll enjoy watching you do so. I cannot promise to go easy on him, but the king is a fiercer fighter than he admits. It helps when one has a magical sword on one side.
You do right by Princess Guinevere now, your majesty, do you hear?
Make sure you win for her. Perhaps this will help motivate you. You remove a beautiful sash from your dress and lean out of the box. Arthur obligingly moves closer so you can wrap the fabric around his arm. Here, my token. Arthur raises one gauntleted hand to touch the fabric reverently. His voice lowers to a warm whisper. I'm honored to carry something of yours so close to me. Bring it back to me in one piece, and bring yourself back to me in one piece. As my lady commands. Leaning precariously out of the royal box, you kiss Arthur's cheek, earning another wild cheer from the crowd. Arthur and Lancelot ride together towards the edge of the arena, and the other knights ride along the stands, even up to the box, claiming favors from their ladies or lords. To your surprise, even Morgana tucks her own favor into the armor of an ice-eyed knight. I don't care about your honor, Sir Agravine. Just be brilliant for me.
I always am.
He rides off, a trumpet sounds, and 2 minor knights tilt at each other for the first bout of the joust. Joust. Words English hard. This is my chance. If Morgana had something to do with Brucen's death, or what she tried to do to Arthur, perhaps I can learn something. Over the crowd's cheers and crunch of lances against the shields, you overhear some of your companions in the box discussing Brucen's death.
Chilling. She had strangled to death.
I heard it was poison.
I suspect she was up to no good. I never trusted her.
You certainly seemed to last night.
I won't have you spreading lies.
Oh, but while they gossip, Morgana merely rolls her eyes and looks away, turning her attention to the joust. I wonder who among them might know more. Why would you go to the other woman? You seize your chance and lean closer to Morgana. Everyone seems to be talking about Lady Brucen's untimely demise. Did you know her well? Hardly. But you've lived at court much of your life, have you not? There are many nobles, and few worth my time. I'd barely spoken to the woman. That's a lie. Morgana was speaking to Brucen right before the woman tried to murder Arthur. I mean, she said she hardly spoke to her. Just saying. She didn't say she didn't, just hardly. Trumpets announce the first victor in the joust, and the crowd erupts into cheers as Lancelot rides out to face a helmeted knight. Even the nobles around you pause their bickering to applaud. Do you not care for Sir Lancelot? Sir Duty and Honor? Not particularly. Everyone else seems to. Everyone else is beguiled by his charming smile and the habit of rescuing stray kittens and wayfish orphans. Most would say those are beguiling traits. Then perhaps I find it hard to be fond of someone so hopelessly attached to my brother. To Arthur? It sounds as if you're jealous. Does it? She tilts her head and studies the knights below. I suppose people might see it that way. Simple, foolish people. I don't know if she's guilty, but she certainly does not like me. She doesn't like anyone. Before you can press Morgana further, another trumpet sounds and the crowd goes wild as Lancelot rides towards its opponent. Please don't get hurt. Your heart's in your throat. You watch the knights thunder towards each other, their lances lowered. The crowd seems to hold its breath until the crash of lances. And Lancelot unseats his opponent. The defeat knight flies through the air to land in a cloud of dust. Thank goodness. How dull. For the honor of Camelot. Lancelot acknowledges the crowd with a gallant nod and turns his horse. But before he can leave the arena, the defeated knight staggers to his feet and draws a sword. Without a word of warning, he swings for Lancelot's unprotected back. What? Lancelot dives from his horse, and the sword whistles past him. He rolls to his feet with a sword already gripped in one hand. How dare you make a mockery of the rules of chivalry? I care nothing for your rules or your joust! With a growl, the defeated knight charges at him. I'm here for revenge, Sir Lancelot, and I mean to take your head! Oh. Well, okay. Good luck. Anyway, without further ado, love your beautiful faces. Sorry about being late. But I'll explain that here in a second. Please remember that if you did enjoy what I do, to like and share the video. Also, make sure to subscribe for even more content coming down the river. And, more things to happen. And, speaking of which, so, the reason why I'm late is because I have had a ton going on. I explained a little bit of it yesterday in the one video that I did upload, but I also wanted to explain yet again in case you missed that, or have not listened to that ending. I've had a lot of appointments lately with the docs and, you know, whatnot, and even today I had one that was a very lengthy one, and then I'm working on a top secret project that will be on this channel sooner rather than later. That is something that is very important. It is one of two things I'm working on right now, focusing mainly on project number 1. So I do apologize once again about being late on this video. You know, I was really thinking about before this week started, my sub 2 choices actually, and then it ended. And I was thinking of maybe hanging my hat and no longer covering the VIP books. But I reconsidered, and I was like, you know what? Well, sooner, or like I said, rather than later, you guys will know the full picture and the grand, I guess, scheme and whatnot of everything. And so that way you'll be able to understand why I'm going and being a little bit late here and there and going through things and the whole 9 yards. So bear with me. I promise you that sometime this weekend, you will know everything. I'd say probably Saturday or Sunday is when I will drop it on the channel, and you guys can see it in its full entirety. So stay tuned for that. Once again, thank you for watching. Love your beautiful faces. Catch y'all next time. Peace out.